This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Futurama is a cartoon series that I have been watching for a long time, starting when I was a kid and I technically wasn't allowed to. But that didn't stop me from watching it late at night when my parents were asleep, because the show was so funny to me, even though a lot of the references and joke went over my head because I was a kid. Still, I had a great time watching it. I have a lot of memories of Futurama, and it's weird to think that it's had so many different endings and reboots, with almost all of the conclusions actually being great. How often does that happen with a franchise? The series hasn't completely worn me out yet, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to accept everything that they throw at me. I was a bit disappointed with the first episode of season 12. Damn, 12 seasons. It doesn't feel like anything should have 12 seasons, but here we are. The episode The One Amigo focuses on NFTs, and to be fair, they are mocking NFTs relentlessly, and I can respect that. It's a dumb concept, but it's one that feels really, really old. What has it been, 1, maybe 2 years since the height of its popularity? You don't hear a whole lot of people talking about them anymore, and thankfully, you don't see a lot of companies selling them anymore either, which is a good thing, but that means that this episode, which just came out, is immediately dated because it was written probably a year to 2 years ago. That's the problem with trying to be topical in the year of our Lord 2024. You either need to do it now or not at all. I just really hope that the rest of the season isn't the same. I wonder what the next episode is about. Squid Games? Really? You're going to do Squid Games? Look at old prime Futurama. They were not trying to be up to date with current events, because guess what? Animation takes a while. You can't be topical unless you're South Park, and that's because those insane assholes are able to pump out an episode in a week because of the animation style. It's a hell week to be sure, but they can manage it. Futurama does not have that ability, and to be fair, old Futurama did have a lot of references. There's no denying that, but they weren't trying to stay up to date with what was current. When you're writing something, you have to think about how the story that you're creating is going to age. It's better to use universal themes compared to the current terms. Hearing NFT over and over and over again throughout the episode made my skin crawl. And if all of this brings a resurgence of NFTs, then I'm going to laugh so hard because they brought about the thing that they hated the most. Oh, and spoilers from here on out. You have 3, 2, 1, go. The episode follows Bender as he works with the kids in order to make NFTs of himself. They sell for $94, but end up getting owned by a museum, and that really upsets Bender. He wants those images back, or at least the idea of those images. And I'm going to say images from now on because I hate saying that term. NFT. It makes my skin crawl. Anyway, Bender has a crisis of identity, so he heads down to Mexico to connect with the robot that he's technically related to, kind of. It's a little weird, but it's pretty funny at the same time. I have no problem with the humor, but I think the $94 aspect would be a lot funnier if they went with a more recognizable number, like 69. Giggity. Meanwhile, the rest of the Planet Express crew decide to do a heist in the museum to get the images back, except that they fail miserably because they do not understand how the concept works. And to be fair, no one does, because it's a dumb idea made by people who should feel ashamed of themselves.
You must walk home naked, dragging behind you the stone of shame.
Besides the issue of the images, I did really enjoy the episode. I thought all of the characters acted as they should, and I thought that it was really funny, especially the stuff down in Mexico where they were making fun of the Aztecs. Good stuff. No problem with the heist either. I thought that was great. The only problem was the images. I hated every single time one of my favorite characters said that term. Remember, Futurama is a comedy show first, and the thing about comedy is that most of it has to do with timing, and their timing with the images was piss poor. They instantly dated themselves. And the biggest problem I have with this, and the reason why I'm emphasizing this a lot, is because it was an easy fix. All the writers had to do was to make the themes more universal and dystopian. And don't try to convince me that Futurama isn't a dystopian future. It is. If you go outside, you can find a phone booth that lets you unalive yourself. Thanks, YouTube. People don't know what I mean at all when I say that. Honestly, the whole setup should have been renting out your likeness to people, kind of like what happened in the Simpsons movie with Tom Hanks.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks. The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
Because this is very real. Just look at the election in 2024. So many different celebrities are putting their name and support behind politicians that they don't really believe in. Use that type of idea, but on a smaller, more local scale, with Bender renting out his image and his support to everyone around him for a small fee. There could be a giant montage of everyone doing weird things in Bender's name. But then Bender accidentally sells his likeness instead of renting it out, meaning that he is no longer allowed to work, to have fun, or to do anything. It's basically government-sanctioned identity theft, forcing him to flee down to Mexico to reconnect with his family. Keep everything with the robots the same, and also keep the heist. All you have to do is change the image, because that's dumb. Just make it a museum of people who sold out and no longer have possession of their own likeness. There could be so many different references to politicians, to athletes, to actors. It could be hilarious. You could even have the episode end in the exact same way, with Bender using the decoder necklace to get his likeness back. And at the end, he can state that he learned an important lesson. You should never sell out your likeness. You might need it later. That's why you should sell out everyone else's likeness instead.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
More universal, more topical, more poignant, more personal. This is something that could actually happen. It will age really well, like depressingly well. Government-sanctioned identity theft. It could happen. You don't think that the federal government would do it if they could? I laugh at you, my fellow mortal. I just laugh, because of course they would. Soon enough, corpos like Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple are going to own your social security number anyway. Welcome to the future. We're basically living in the universe of Cyberpunk 2077. It's why I don't want to throw away the entire episode. 80% of it was excellent. It was just the images part that I had a problem with. It's an easy fix. Don't use terms and concepts that are going to be dated 5 minutes from now. It really frustrates me that there is an entire writing room of people that didn't point out that this was going to be an issue. The small details matter, and if you keep making the small mistakes over and over again, then they're going to add up into a major issue. It's stuff like this that makes the new seasons of Futurama feel less than the episodes that came before it. It makes me feel like we're never going to get stories like Fry's dog, Layla's parents, Zoidberg's romance ever again. And that is just a shame. Futurama is such a great series. I would hate to see any decline in quality whatsoever. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Disappointed!
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.